Named after San Francisco transgender pioneer Claire Lee Skiffington, the Vanguard Award celebrates those who came first, providing 10 years or more of innovative leadership to advance the rights of our community. This year, the community and movement leaders from across the country submitted over 25 unique Vanguard nominations to recognize, drum roll, well, we all know, Willy Wilkinson, yay! Yay, Willy. Of all the awesome things that people had to say about Willy, Paisley Curra said,
here's a quote from Paisley Chura, who said, "Willy has always been far ahead of the curve in identifying issues of pressing concern to trans communities, especially transgender men and trans people of color. He not only identifies a problem that others have overlooked, he also does the labor that's necessary to fix it." Willy's long-standing commitment to the health and well-being of transgender communities is exactly the kind of leadership that we need.
Exactly. Jamison Green said, Willy stepped up in response to the AIDS crisis and the hidden sexuality of trans men to help obtain data to prove to authorities that this population needed help, and then worked on projects to deliver that help. His steadfast pursuit of reputable healthcare and his conscientious work of the intersection of race and gender has been both exemplary and bridge building.
From drawing desperately needed attention and funds to transgender communities impacted by the AIDS epidemic, to founding the first support group for FTM people of color, to changing hearts and minds through your trainings, you have been an essential voice and leader on behalf of our community. Congratulations,
yes,
Willy.
Congratulations. Let's take a moment. Yes.
Please join us in welcoming Willy Wilkinson.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Wow. Well, thank you for that. I'm blown away by the generosity of love I'm feeling tonight, and I feel I have to spread this around because there are so many amazing trans and gender nonconforming people all over the world doing incredible work, being your fierce, authentic selves, educating people about trans issues, caring for each other, and advancing trans rights. So I share this award with all of you badass trans and gender nonconforming people, okay? And I also want to I want to shout out to my trans brothers and gender nonconforming trans masculine siblings. You know, you sustain me with your spirit and your strength and your style, okay? So I'm up here because of your brotherhood, so thank you. And as someone who does a lot of LGBT and trans-specific cultural competency training, I've had the privilege of working with so many allies that are so fiercely dedicated to trans issues, so I have to put out there that I want to thank the allies too. So, I thank you for your compassion, for getting it, that trans equality is all about essential to equality for all, and thank you for taking action to increase access for trans folks in your setting. So thank you, allies. So who here got a chance to try my signature cocktail? And what's it called? Oh, and why is it called that? All right, now, yes, my forthcoming book, Born on the Edge of Race and Gender, A Voice for Cultural Competency, is due in the spring. And basically, I'm using memoir to educate about cultural competency, public health, and policy advocacy issues. So you can learn more at willywilkinson.com or like my Facebook page. We have some upcoming videos coming up. And so releases in the spring, available for pre-order now. So thank you for the support. Thank you. I had to thank my parents who are here tonight at age 92 and 88. Rock on, Mom and Dad. I want to thank you for bringing me into this world and for not just showing me the beauty of community, but for teaching me the power of educating our community about our cultural framework. So thank you, Mom and Dad, for being here. And And I want to thank my beautiful, irreverent, crack me up every day of my life, hilarious, wicked smart, chewy nougat center of our family, badass lesbian wife, Georgia Callias. Thank you for loving me and challenging me and brainstorming with me, being an incredible mama to our 3 vibrant, rambunctious, beautiful children, and for giving me a soft place to land. You know how long it's been? How many years we've been together, folks? In 3 months, it's gonna be 20 years. So let's hear it for Georgia and long-term trans love, because we all deserve love. So, Transgender Law Center, I have to thank you because, and there are 3 victories, recent victories I really want to highlight because they are so close to my heart. And tonight, as people mentioned earlier in the VIP reception, we're celebrating that the Respect After Death law was signed by Governor Brown last Friday. And that was Chino, Maya Scott Chung, the work of them and Transgender Law Center. You know, it honors our dear brother, Christopher Lee, who when he passed, he was documented by the coroner as female, even though he lived his life as a man. And so now, thanks to your hard work, no other trans folks are going to be misgendered in death. It's like one last insult to, you know, a lifetime of insults. So thank you for that, Transgender Law Center. Thank you. And I have to talk about AB 1266, the School Success and Opportunity Act, because I was that young trans child who changed my name to Willy at age 9 in the early 70s with no systemic support in my school system. So thank you for passing the School Success and Opportunity Act, because now trans kids in California public schools can be respected for who they are and have access to equal access to education. So thank you for that, Transgender Law Center. And the ACLU. Now, I want to say, and as Mason mentioned this earlier, you know, I came on staff of Transgender Law Center in 2004 to launch the Healthcare Access Project. And so I'm going to tell you a little history now. So, you know, gather around, Shona, because Grandpa's going to break it down. So, in 2004, the Healthcare Access Project at Transgender Law Center was the first program in the nation to provide transgender cultural competency training for health providers, educate community members about their rights in healthcare settings, and advocate for comprehensive access to care. And let me just tell you, it went a whole lot of providers banging down the door for free training back then. And the educational workshops for community members, you know, it was a downer. It was like, okay, these are the multiple ways where we're getting screwed by health insurance. And so I created patient advocacy materials so we'd have tools and resources to hopefully not get treated like dirt in a doctor's office. You know, and I recognize that is still the case for so many people across the country and around the world. But in California, the landscape has changed. Thanks to your work, Transgender Law Center and our allied partners. Who knew that 10 years later I'd be educating community members about how to get your surgery covered, and that I would access medically necessary transition-related surgery paid for by my health insurance. I got new junk this summer. Thank you, Transgender Law Center.
Thank you, Willy.
I got one story, and I'll get out of your hair. Recently, I ran into an old friend of mine that I've known since the 80s, Leah Arellano, this fierce, butch Chicana sister. And she's like, Willy, congratulations on that award. Thank you, hermano, for your fierceness and your courage. I learned so much from you. And I said, oh, well, thank you. I shared that I feel a little uncomfortable about receiving this honor. I said, you know, we're not used to being seen and recognized. She says, I know, we're used to hiding, but in the old days, you would be celebrated as a shaman because you had the medicine. I said, the medicine? The medicine of education. Thank you for lifting the cement from our minds. Thank you, Transgender Law Center. Thank you, trans and gender nonconforming people everywhere, for being yourselves and for having the medicine. Thank you.
Thank you, Willy Wilkinson.
Thank you. Thank you for that awesome story of the idea that I think we can all walk away today feeling like, as trans leaders and educators, that we are lifting the cement from so many people's minds. So thank you for that beautiful story, Willy.
Absolutely.